Hi students, in our today's session we should learn about the fourth law of reciprocal proportions from the subtopic laws of chemical combination from the chapter Some Basic Concepts of Chemistry from grade 11 NCERT. Right, up to now what are the topics completed? Everything I have provided, all the links in the description, you can go through them. Dear students, the first law is the law of conservation of mass. In that two categories, matter undergoes a physical change and matter undergoes a chemical change. In that chemical change, about precipitation reaction completed and decomposition of mercuric oxide also completed, students. And the second one is law of constant composition also completed, and the third one is law of multiple proportions. In this third law of chemical combination, the formation of compounds of carbon and oxygen completed, and the compounds of sulfur and oxygen completed, and the compounds of nitrogen and oxygen also completed, students. And now students, in our today's session we have to learn about the law of reciprocal proportions. First of all, just we have to know the definition of this law of reciprocal proportions. This law was put forward by the scientist Richter. In the year of 1792. Okay, it states the definition. Here you can see the ratio of the masses of two elements. For suppose if the two elements A and B, and which combine separately with a fixed mass of the third element C. Here is the third element C, either the same or some simple multiple of the ratio of the masses in which A and B combine directly with each other. If these two directly with each other, and this is the third element should be formed. And coming to just this law may be illustrated with the help of the following steps I'll tell you. Then the first one is in the step 1, the elements of carbon and oxygen combine separately with the third element of hydrogen. Here, as I told you the previously, according to the definition, here the ratios of the masses of two elements A and B which combine separately with the fixed mass of the third element, here is the C. And like that only, in the first step, here is the carbon and oxygen combine separately with the third element H to form, just H to form here CH4. If these three elements are combining together, then the formation of methane could be done. And students, coming to H2O, if you take the example of H2O here, they combine directly with each other to form CO2. Basing upon these three elements, okay, these three are combining together to it leads to form H2O, and other one to form CO2. Here let's see the diagrammatic representation for this formation. Here is the hydrogen, and here is the carbon, and here is the oxygen. Okay, these three are the elements. For suppose, for the formation of CO2, here is the carbon and it is going to combine with oxygen, then CO2 will be formed. And you can say that here, for suppose formation of CH4, and for suppose formation of H2O also. Here in the formation of CH4, 12 parts by the mass of carbon. Here is the carbon. So how many parts, students? 12 parts of the mass of the carbon combined with 4 parts of, here is the 4 parts of mass of hydrogen. Okay, then CH4 will be formed. In the formation of H2O, here is the H2O, 2 parts by mass of hydrogen. Here is the hydrogen, 2 parts, and it is combined with 16 parts by mass of oxygen. Thus the masses of carbon and oxygen which combine in the fixed mass of hydrogen, say just 4 parts by mass, and here is the 12 parts of carbon, and here is the 32 parts of this oxygen. These two are combining with each other, then the formation of CO2 could be done. Okay, now in CO2, in this CO2, 12 parts by mass of carbon combined directly with the 32 parts mass of the oxygen, that is to combine directly, the ratio 12 is to 32, and here is the ratio 12:32. And students, coming to these two, they combine directly in this particular ratio, or you can say 3:8, which is the same as the first ratio. Okay, this is the first step in the illustration of this law of reciprocal proportions. Now let's see the second case. In the elements, for suppose in case 2, the elements of hydrogen and as well as oxygen combine separately with the third element is sulfur, and it leads to formation of hydrogen sulfide H2S and SO2, and they combine directly with each other to form H2O. Okay, these are the main elements and to form H2O. And let's see now how it will be. Here is the sulfur, and here is hydrogen, and here is the third element is oxygen. Here is the formation of H2O takes place, and here sulfur dioxide, and here hydrogen sulfide H2S. And as I am showing in this diagram, the masses of hydrogen and oxygen which combine with the fixed masses of sulfur. Wise 32 parts. Here is the sulfur, so here 32 parts are 2 and 32. Here you can say here is the sulfur, so here also 32. Okay, and coming to this H2O water molecule, here 16 parts by mass, here is 2 parts. And coming to H2S, here is the sulfur same 32, and hydrogen also 2 parts by mass, and they are in the ratio 2:32 or 1:16. When students, for suppose hydrogen and oxygen combine directly to form H2O, the ratio of their combining masses is just 2:16 or 1:8. The two ratios are related to each other as 1/16 is to 1/8. That is equal to 1:2. Okay, that is they are simple multiple of each other. This is about the law of reciprocal proportion, students. And let's go for some examples now. What is the solution for them? Let's do it. Here is the first example. Ammonia contains 82.35% of nitrogen and 17.65% of hydrogen. Now H2O contains 88.9% of oxygen and 11.10% of hydrogen. Now students, next compound here, nitrogen trioxide contains 63.15% of oxygen and 36.85% of nitrogen. These are the details, these are the complete, this is the data they have given, and show that those data illustrate the law of reciprocal proportion. This is the question. And let's see the diagrammatic representation of this data. Here is the 3 elements what they have given, hydrogen, and here is the nitrogen, and students oxygen also. And here by combining these two, the formation of H2O, by combining these nitrogen and oxygen, the formation of nitrogen trioxide, and here the formation of ammonia, NH3. Okay, in ammonia is NH3, 17.65 grams of hydrogen combined with nitrogen, that is only 82.35 grams. They have given in the question itself. Ammonia contains 82.35% of nitrogen. Okay, for suppose basing upon this data, we can conclude that for 1 gram of hydrogen combined with nitrogen is equal to 82.35 by 17.65 grams, that is equal to 4.67 grams. Okay, in H2O, coming to water molecule, in H2O 11.10 grams of hydrogen combined with oxygen, hydrogen is combining with oxygen. The particular amount is, they have given in the question itself, 88.90 grams. Basing upon this data, you can conclude that 1 gram of hydrogen, it is combining with oxygen. The calculation should be 88.90 by 11.10 grams. That should be approximately 8.01 grams. Now students, the ratio of the masses of here nitrogen and oxygen which combine with fixed masses, that is only 1 gram. That is the fixed mass of hydrogen is equal to 4.67 is to 8.01 is equal to 1 is to 1.72. In case of N2O3, nitrogen trioxide, the ratio of masses of nitrogen and oxygen which combine with each other, that should be 36.85 is to 63.15, that is equal to 1 is to 1.71. Thus the two ratios are the same, hence it illustrates that law of reciprocal proportions. Okay students, now hence this law of reciprocal proportions has been proved. Now let's go for the next example. Carbon dioxide contains 27.27% of carbon, and carbon disulfide, that is CS2, contains 15.79% of carbon, and sulfur dioxide contains 50% of sulfur. This is the statement and this is the data what they have given. Are these figures in agreement with the law of reciprocal proportions? We have to prove that they agreement with this law of reciprocal proportions. Let's do it. First one, if you see the diagrammatic representation of this, what they have given, the three elements carbon and sulfur, including with that oxygen. Okay, now by the combination of these carbon and oxygen, what is the compound has been formed students? That is CO2. And sulfur and oxygen, sulfur dioxide and carbon disulfide. Okay, now the percentages we have been written here. Coming to the question, CO2 contains how much of carbon percentage? 27.27%. And CS2, carbon disulfide, contains the carbon percentage is 15.79%. And coming to oxygen, it contains 72.73%. And here is the sulfur, 84.21%. Okay, here is the sulfur 50%, and here also in SO2 oxygen is 50%. Okay, this is the complete data we derived from the question itself. Now we can say that 1 gram of carbon will combine with sulfur, that is 84.21 by 15.79 grams, that should be 5.33 grams. Basing upon that details, we can say that 1 gram of carbon will combine with oxygen, that should be 72.73 grams by 27.27 grams. So that is approximately 2.67 grams. Therefore, the ratio of masses of sulfur and oxygen which combine with the fixed mass of the carbon, just y is 1 gram, that is 5.33 is to 2.67. So 2 is to 1. This is the ratio of masses of sulfur and oxygen which combine directly with each other, that should be 50 is to 50, nothing but 1 is to 1. Thus the two ratios are simple multiple of each other. Okay, this is the simple solution of this question. Let's get into the next question. What we have in this example, 61.8 grams of A combined with 80 grams of B, and 30.9 grams of A combined with 106.5 grams of C. B and C combine to form the compound CB2. And atomic weights of C and B are respectively 35.5 and 6.6. This is the data and show that the law of reciprocal proportions is obeyed or not. Okay, in this data we should represent just in this simple diagram. Here they have given A, B, C, just like these three elements they have given. And students, about the weights also they have given. Here is that 61.8 grams of A, 61.8 grams, and 80 grams of B. Here near the B you can write simply 80 grams, and near the C 106.5 grams. What they have given in the question itself, you have to just represent here. And coming to A, here is the 30.9 grams. Okay, now the atomic masses also they have given in the question itself. 2 into 6.6 grams, that is in the compound CB2, and 35.5 grams. These are the atomic weights they have given. Now the masses of B combining with 1 gram of A is equal to 80 by 61.8. That should be 1.29 grams. Now the mass of combining with 1 gram of A is equal to, now this is only mass of B. Now students, the next one, mass of C. C is combining with 1 gram of A is equal to 106.5 by 30.9. That is the answer, approximately 3.45 grams. And this is the ratio, and this ratio of masses of B and C combining with the fixed mass of A is equal to 1.29 is to 3.45. That is equal to 1 is to 2.67. That is only 3 is to 8. The ratio of masses of B and C combining directly with each other, for suppose B and C directly combining with each other, that is 13.2 is to 35.5, that is equal to 1 is to 2.67, that is equal to 3 is to 8. Thus the ratios are same. Okay, this is the complete explanation of this third example. Okay students, this is about the law of reciprocal proportions. Coming to our mind mapping, what I have written in this fourth type also completed students, and we have left that law of combining volumes, Gay-Lussac's law of gaseous volumes. This is only left over about. In this fifth law of chemical combination, this is Gay-Lussac's law of gaseous volumes. In these students, about 3 states, 3 conditions you are going to study. The first one is combination between hydrogen and chlorine, and the next one is combination between hydrogen and oxygen, and the third one is combination between nitrogen and hydrogen. Okay, and let's study about these 3. First of all, you have to know the definition of law of combining volumes, what it is. This is mainly depending upon the gaseous state of the elements. Gay-Lussac investigated a large number of chemical reactions occurring in gases. As a result of this experiment, Gay-Lussac found that there exists a definite relationship among the volumes of the gaseous reactants and the products. Already you know, from the reactants products will be formed. That you know, in this law, gaseous substances only the reactants and the gaseous substances only the products. Okay, and gaseous reactants and the products. In the year of 1809, he put forward a generalization known as the Gay-Lussac's law of combining volumes. This is defined as, defined as when gases react together, they always do so in volumes which bear a simple ratio to one another. to bear a simple ratio to one another and to the volumes of the products if these are also gases, provided all the measurements of volumes are done under similar conditions, those are temperature and pressure. Okay, consider for illustration some more examples. Let's see now. Here what I have told you, the first one is combining between here is the combination between hydrogen and chlorine. In this case, one volume of hydrogen and one volume of chlorine. Here also chlorine is one volume, combining to form 2 volumes of hydrogen chloride. Okay, the simple representation, let's see now. Just this is only one volume of H2 plus in this another block, here also same one volume of chlorine to form. Here is the big block here, so this is only 2 volumes of HCl. Okay, the ratio between the 2 volumes of the reactants and the products in this reaction is simple, that is only 1:1:2. Hence it illustrates the law of combining volumes. Okay, in this second case, combination between hydrogen and oxygen. The volumes of hydrogen is always combined with one volume of oxygen to produce 2 volumes of steam. 2 volumes of hydrogen, that is only 2H2 plus O2. Here is the O2 1 volume, here hydrogen is 2 volumes, leads to form 2H2O. This is also 2 volumes, that is only steam. Okay, and we can represent this. Here is the 2 volumes of H2 plus 1 volume of O2 gives rise to 2 volumes of H2O, which is in gaseous state, so that is only called as steam. Here also the ratio between the volumes of the reactants and the products is simple, that is 2:1:2. This is the second case. And what about the third case? Here what we have in case 3, combination between nitrogen and hydrogen. Let's see briefly in this combination. Here nitrogen and hydrogen, students, I am going to write here, and 1 volume of nitrogen, here N2 plus H2. Only 1 volume of nitrogen plus 3 volumes of H2 hydrogen, that means 3 volumes of H2 gives rise to 2NH3. It is the balanced chemical equation 2NH3. It is also has 2 volumes. Okay, this relation between these reactants and the product, this is the chemical reaction, also indicates a simple ratio 1:3:2 in between the volumes of the reactants and the products. Okay, students, now it may be emphasized here the volume that is in the above reaction or expressed in a similar units, that is only ml, milliliters or liters. Okay, right, students, this is about today's session, law of chemical combination. Here itself, law of reciprocal proportions, about this I have explained to you, and number 5 is law of combining volumes. In this, Gay-Lussac's law of gaseous volumes also I have explained to you. Okay, students, in this session we concluded that the law of chemical combination, it is completely finished. And what is your opinion? And if you understand this class, you can share to your friends and If you like this class, you can understand this class, just if you understand this class, you can subscribe to this channel for my further updates. Thank you so much. Thanks for watching. This is the subtopic from the chapter Some Basic Concepts of Chemistry from grade 11. Okay students, thank you so much. Thanks for watching.